Okay, so right now we will be looking for an Ionic developer. Ionic is a mobile framework that helps people build mobile apps easier. It is basically a set of components and other elements that help you build applications from blocks. We are looking for people who have exclusive experience with Ionic framework, and I prepared the instructions for you to be able to find them more easily using our LinkedIn Sales Navigator account. And I created some saved searches for this. There are 3 lists of priorities. Right now, we're going to be focusing on the Europe, Eastern Europe, and a little bit of Western Europe from the countries that are still reasonably priced. And then we're going to look at South America, and then later on we're going to have a bit more inclusive filters, meaning that more candidates in the pool from Eastern Europe. And who we're looking for is very similar to our previous job searches. So we're looking for candidates that are specifically developing mobile applications with Ionic, and also Cordova, which is also one of the framework that is used alongside Ionic. It's kind of like it always goes hand to hand together. So this is like a front-end position, but specifically targeted at mobile. We need at least 4 years of commercial experience. So we're eliminating anyone under 3 years, and they need to have at least one job where they worked with Ionic and Angular. So basically, Ionic is a framework built on top of Angular, meaning that, well, if they have Ionic, they don't need to specify in their profile that they also have Angular. What we're not looking for is we're not looking for candidates that are working remotely for companies in Western Europe, USA, and the Nordic countries. It is highly advisable for them to work remotely already, but not necessarily for companies that are based in countries where the salary levels are super high. So this is all specified here. Let me record right now how I would go about that, so you know what to look at. And I also have the message templates here that are a bit different, because there's two sets of the first connection message. So first one is, I got interested in your profile because you work with Ionic at, and specify all the companies' names where they work with Ionic. And this is a bit more targeted and a bit more relevant. And in the second one, if they don't have specified that they are using Ionic for a specific position, but they do mention it in their skill sets or in their profile description, then we want to use the second message template. And the second message, but we will not look at candidates that don't have Ionic specified in job positions unless they claim that they've done mobile development on any of the positions. So let me show how that would work as an example. So I'm going to copy this message template first of all, so that I can quickly connect with those people, and let me show you how I would go about connecting with them. So here we've got the first guy here. We don't want to. We will not reach out to people who are in my first connection right now. We only want to connect with new people. So I'm going to look at his profile first to see he's only open to suggestions in Canada. So this is quite interesting. I know I will personalize the message a bit to him, because I know he's looking in Canada, but I'll ask him that maybe USA is something interesting for him. But what I want to look at is his hybrid mobile app developer. So hybrid mobile app development, this is partly like Ionic. He specifies that he actually used Ionic PhoneGap, which is something like Cordova as well. So this is very, very interesting for us. In that case, I am actually going to message him because and then just apologize that I'm writing about suggestions only in Canada. So please also make these messages a bit more personal. In that case, I'm going to connect with him and enter a personal message. So Stanislav, I got interested in your profile because you worked as an Ionic freelancer. I know you're looking at positions in Canada. Maybe you'll consider USA as well. Will you consider USA? Because we gotta. Let's make it a bit nicer like that. And I think that makes sense. So I'm going to send a message to him. There's this important thing to notice that we don't want people who worked less than 6 months or a year in a previous company, and that is actually a company that we're seeing that he's working in the Ukraine. So he's actually quite a good guy. We have a pending invitation right now. So I'm going to look at another guy. So this is Yuri Averin. He has Angular, React, Node, Ionic in his title, which is very good. And he worked at Coders and at Gigsters, both with Ionic. I'm checking out the company just to see if this company is located in Europe or somewhere else. I'm not sure it will be so easy to check out, but I see that everyone that's employed there is in Ukraine. So I think that they're in Ukraine. So I'm going to message him, like connect with him right now. And let me do it like that. And so I'm going to copy the message template again. And I'm going to say, Yuri, I got interested in your profile because you worked with Ionic at Gigsters and Coders. Tara, I hope you don't mind me reaching out like this. And cool, I'm sending him the invitation. Looking at the next guy here, Roman in Warsaw. I think I may have messaged him already. Yeah, there is a pending invitation to him, but because this guy is a good candidate. He worked at PZU with Ionic, and he's worked with Angular on his previous job, which means he's a pretty good candidate for this position as well. So I already messaged him. We can take a look at another guy. And here we have current position with Ionic, Android at Extra Networks. He's working for remotely in the New York, which doesn't make him the best candidate right now. I expect that his salary is probably in a similar range. That will not make it very interesting for him, probably as a new position. Let's take a look at Alexei. Alexei is also working in field engineer, which is a company in New York. So let's look at another guy. He's working remotely. Let's check out Zasmik. What's that company? Zasmik Incorporated. San Francisco Bay Area, not the best place as well. Let's have a guy in Serbia. He's freelancing. He used to work at Povio Labs freelancing as well. Let's look at his Ionic software developer, most comfortable with JavaScript. That is good. Because Ionic is a JavaScript framework. He has it in his skill sets, and it's actually confirmed by 5 people, but I'm not sure. Yeah, mobile. So he did some mobile development. I will reach out to him. Yeah, he worked on large-scale web, mobile, and smart TV projects. So we're going to use the second template because we don't know which company he worked with Ionic exactly. So we're going to ask that from him later on. So Tucson. And send that. We will just do the same for the remaining candidates. And I also want to take a look at these guys from South America so that you have an example of similar approach. So we're going to look at people who are mostly working with South America. Let's see at this guy. I may have connected with him already because he looked pretty good. Nope, I haven't. So he worked with Ionic at Otherly. It's in Sao Paulo, Canada, Vancouver as well. But let's check it out because I think that if they have a subsidiary in Sao Paulo, then headquarters in Canada. But still, I think it makes sense to email them. If they were working in the US, I would probably be less inclined to message him. So I am going to send a message here at Otherly and see if that is interesting. So Tiago, I get interested in your profile with Ionic at Otherly. So I'm going to send him a message. If he responds that the range isn't different, we can still consider him from like more leadership position because he's taking a leadership position. Let me check out. Yeah, that looks good. Let's take a look at another guy, Mobile Ionic at BT or BITI, whatever that is. This is in Brazil. Cool. Let me see. Yeah, it's an Ionic position, so it looks like a very good. He's got over. Yeah, he has over 4 years experience. He did actually quite a lot of development. He looks like a good. Let's read his description. He works with Ionic Cordova with the mean stack for mobile apps, Ruby apps. So very interesting as far as his experience. Yeah, he has a BA in 2010, so looks like a developer with a vast experience. So Maurilio, let's message him. Cool. And he worked at BT with Ionic. And that would be, I think, enough for an introduction. Once you start getting more people in, I will look at those profiles and I will make comments in case they are the right ones, or I will make comments if you should be more exclusive in terms of who you're connecting with. Cool. So looking forward to seeing some results. And thanks.